Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gibbo the Shaman, and today we are talking about the deep state. So, in light of recent events with the Epstein list and all that good stuff, I thought I just got really inspired to talk about it. The deep state and what that is and what that means for, society and all that. And I just want to say, we'll be looking at a couple news sources and things like that, but in essence, the deep state is the administrative arm of the government, or it's like the fourth branch of government. It's comprised of really just psychopaths, people who will keep secrets, no problem, people who will go along with an agenda, no problem, you know? People who, are just aren't looking out for the people of the United States, but rather nor the Constitution, but they're just, in it for themselves and their own lighting their own pockets and stuff. And so, it's pretty crazy, like all this stuff. So, first article we have here, and by the way, I just wanted to mention, there's such a focus on, oh yeah, well, only President Trump experiences the deep state, like resistance and stuff. Well, I can tell you that it's more than that, and it expands in more areas than you might think. Like, oh yeah, it's like they're just trying to get the Epstein documents and they're resisting that. No, it's much more than that. Even goes into UFO disclosure and stuff like that. So anyhow, um first document we have here from the New York Post: leaks and lies as the military tries to undermine President Trump. And what I wanted to point out here for you is this. You know, so this guy, James Franklin Jeffrey, he's a career for foreign service hack who signed a scathing New York scathing Never Trump letter in 2016, then got a post as President Trump's special representative for Syria engagement. And yes, President Trump did not do a great job of selecting people in his first term, as we know, like Anthony Fauci. However, he's human and has the right to make mistakes, and and thankfully we have a lot better people here today, like Pam Bondi, like Tulsi Gabbard, like Kash Patel. And so, so he's selected, this guy, Jeffrey, is selected to be the special representative for Syria engagement. Anyway, and he went on to sabotage the president's plans for keeping Americans out of Syria, the Syrian mess. On his way out the door to a cozy retirement, Ambassador Jeffrey publicly boasted that he had lied to President Trump about troop numbers in Syria. And this was one of the biggest things too. Trump would say, um, you know, Trump would say, "Okay, let's get all our troops out of Syria, guys. Let's all get them all out." And they'd say, "Okay, okay, it's done. We got them all out, and no worries, it's done." But what they would do is they would, of course, take maybe 200, 300 troops out and then, leave the rest there. So that way we could say that we got some, them all out, you know. It's like, so to continue here, This is a quote. We're always playing shell games. We're always playing shell games to not make clear to our leadership how many troops we had there, he told Defense One. See, this is like, it's like, well, that is intentionally obfuscating the president's authority. Like, why? Like, that is indeed like treason, right? Treason is the crime, you know? And so they did this intentionally. And why this guy is not locked up in a prison cell right now, I don't know. But because that's a crime. Like, doing anything against the president's will is a crime if you're in that position to, of authority. And so, they've been playing shell games, they've been doing things with troops that they're not supposed to, and, this is what I'm talking about. This is the deep state. Even though the New York Post makes it seem like, oh well, this is just like someone rogue. You know, it says we were, and so what does that mean? The whole deep state, the whole, like, there's massive parts of the the Department of Defense, this and that, you know, aside from political bias, which is one thing, but also, we have the disclosure thing, which is UFO disclosure, and what the deep state knows about disclosure. Well, they've been hiding that from the presidents for a long time, too. So, yeah, just wanted to show you guys that, and this is not like a one-off thing. This happens all the time. People intentionally lie, for various reasons. So, let's see here. So now we have, of course, the Epstein files. Now, Pam Bondi said that, she was denied, you know, somebody basically told her, from the FBI that, oh yeah, that's all the documents we had. 200 pages worth of documents. Yep, that's all there is. Right, yeah, sure. But then when we actually go back and look at, these are what the FBI agents found in, I believe it was Epstein's New York condo or whatever, his place in New York. And you have multiple CDs of, naughty, disgusting things going on. And this was his evidence, against people, against different world leaders. Infamously, Bill Clinton, and, he even had I'm gonna see if I can find it here. He had a picture of Bill Clinton in a blue dress, and I think it was a red, red dress or some kind of a dress and heels, high heels. That basically tells you everything. He owned him because he had such evidence on him. So you can see massive amounts of CDs and evidence paperwork here. You can also see files and files and files and files of, just crazy stuff. And by the way, Epstein did not off himself. And then here you can see, what do we have here? A bunch of other, files and recorded documents, and even like videotapes and all that stuff. And, even if let's see, I'm gonna try to zoom in here. So that, that right there says evidence right there. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's like those yellow things. Let me see if I can do this. Oops. All right, let me see. Okay, it's not letting me. Well, but like, let me see if I can do this. Ah. There we go. Now, when they came across these files here, they actually said that the FBI officials or the FBI agents had not put these red tag or these yellow tags on here saying evidence. You can see evidence. Evidence, evidence, right there. Evidence, evidence, evidence. So, what does this tell us? That Epstein had evidence on plenty of, corrupt leaders in the world. And I mean, this is videotapes, this is video evidence, this is some nasty, nasty stuff. I don't even want to know what's on here. I mean, I do, but I just don't want to see it because that's some gross shit. So yeah, I mean, you can see all kinds of stuff here, and so, you know, there are plenty there are plenty of rumors that Epstein had, that he basically, that he, um, was, sorry guys, that he was tied to Mossad. The Mossad or, some other, uh, secret agency or something like that that was, you know, collecting evidence and, to use as blackmail. All of this stuff can be used as blackmail. And so, we, from just this photo right here, we have documents upon documents, folders upon folders of evidence. I mean, it's crazy. And so, when we have that big of a, you know, a, that amount of evidence, it's incredible that we only have 200 pages that they gave Pam Bondi. And of course, like, if you don't think that they're trying to cover something up, if you don't think that um that they're trying to shove things under the rug or destroy evidence. I mean, that was even hinted at that there was a whistleblower that said that the New York office was basically destroying evidence of the Epstein files that they had, which is against the law. But again, this is rogue people going against the will of the president, and I fear that our country has come to a point where, like, even an elected president, no matter how much you despise him and don't like him and whatever, all that, BS. You're still going out of your way to destroy evidence, to cover things up and all that. It's like, it's really crazy. And I don't think that they're doing that simply because they dislike Trump or whatever, you know. My cat's meowing. But, so yeah, I don't think that they're doing that just because they don't like him. I think that if any president, if Biden, if Obama, wanted these files out there, they would probably destroy the evidence for them too. Because I'll tell you, Bill Gates, you can look up the interview that Melinda Gates did when she divorced Bill Gates and about Jeffrey Epstein and his relationship with him. She said that he was evil incarnate, And so, what does that tell you? When it's Melinda Gates, for God's sakes. I mean, she's no angel either, She's gone along with Bill Gates and doing uh, polio shots in Africa that gave children Guillain-Barré syndrome. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of children in Africa, probably right now, who have Guillain-Barré syndrome. Look it up. And that was due to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They provided polio vaccines for for uh for the African children. Of course, nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, trust me, I have a bunch of knowledge and stuff on different crap that Bill Gates did and is doing. He even there's even a clip of him at a TED Talk where he has a formulation that relates to the carbon footprint. And he says people times services times energy output equals the carbon output or whatever. Something along those lines. And then, he's like, so if we could get rid of the first variable, which was people, then we'd have a lower carbon output. So, of course, he's a genocidal fucking creep. And, this is why, you should never take a thing that goes in your shoulder there. Because you don't know what it's laced with. Nowadays, big farmer, you know what I mean? It's designed to, it's not designed for your best interests. Anyway, so that's some stuff that could get me from YouTube. So I will not, I will refrain from talking about that and move on with some other stuff that could get me. Alright, so, we have this evidence and all that stuff, and then let's talk about, what else? So, oh yeah. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. My cat is crazy. Alright, my cat's stomach is not feeling too well, so, she'll be alright though. But yeah, I just wanted to also talk to you about this right here. So this is essentially the Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive Module 1. And if you can go here to the dpiarchive.com, and then you go down here to intelligence briefings, and then you click on this one, Module 1, Introduction and History. Click on that. And by the way, this is password protected, so you'll need to make an account. It's pretty easy though. Alright, so now I'll talk about this document. So, I just wanted to relay that there's an apparatus. It's more than people hating Trump or people not wanting certain information to get out to a certain president or whatever. It is about really secrecy and making secret very sensitive documents and information from the leaders of the free world. This is some pretty serious stuff, guys. Some people have been offed, unalived, because of this stuff, and so, but, I'm not scared of anything, really, I know where I'm going when I pass away, so I'm not afraid of death, So, let's see here. So, I searched up denied. So, I want to show you, how far this goes. So, this is a document about UFO disclosure, or interdimensional extraterrestrial beings being disclosed and all that. So this is from Dr. Stephen Greer. So throughout the early 1990s, Dr. Greer attempted to educate and collaborate with members of the U.S. government, including President Bill Clinton and CIA Director R. James Woolsey, both of whom were repeatedly denied access to classified information about ETs. Dr. Greer's meetings aimed to advocate for the declassification of extraterrestrial-related projects and to foster a more transparent discussion about extraterrestrial affairs within the U.S. government. So that just shows you, that, even the presidents of, presidents past have been denied access to certain information. And this is another part of the deep state. It's not just FBI, CIA, it is military, it's, Department of Defense, Department of Interior, Department of, whatever, DNI, all that, So they have moles and they have, things like that inside of each department, each area. And this is basically a shadow government, for lack of a better term. And so, let me see here. So, I'll just go through this. Very early in President Clinton's term, Dr. Greer was approached by the president of the Arlington Institute, John L. Peterson. He wrote in a FedEx that both President Clinton and CIA Director Woolsey had made inquiries and been denied access or information. Let's see here. During this time, Dr. Gurr was approached by a man from Naval Intelligence. Initially, Dr. Gurr was hesitant. However, the man was very supportive, and he too wanted the information out. He worked with very senior officials in the Pentagon and CIA, and said that his outreach had been denied. He offered his help. So he was basically trying to get information from the CIA, Pentagon, and he was denied. Let's see here. In July 1993, Dr. Greer attended a meeting at the Monroe Institute in Virginia. In attendance were covert State Department, CIA operatives, C.B. Scott Jones, a military advisor who also had offered to help, and several other interested parties. The purpose of this outreach was to coordinate with the executive branch, the Pentagon, and the military to deconflict Dr. Greer's CA5 contact operations with military operations. There were a mutual desire to avoid interference on either side and to educate those who should know about the subject but had been deliberately denied access. Okay. So you're seeing a lot of denied access here. I was curious about who was keeping these secrets and why, as he had no prior knowledge of such clandestine activities, despite his experience as an arms negotiator for President Reagan during the SALT talks. He was unaware of why such secrecy was maintained, secrecy that led to illegal, unsanctioned operations that even denied access to the president himself and senior members of the National Security Council. So yeah, this, special access programs, unacknowledged special access programs is what they are called. And, we can see, that it's just crazy. It's a secret kind of cabal, I guess. It's crazy to say that, but, it's true. So I guess I wanted to, talk about, give you a few examples of stuff and, So I see this, basically why I wanted to make this video was I see this compartmentalization of, they're just after President Trump, which, yes. I mean, I feel like why certain parts of the government, certain individuals are after him and don't like him is because he's, he's not just one of these pre-selected candidates like Kamala Harris was. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna go in there and you're going to do exactly what the top officials tell, what the deep state tells you, like a deep state puppet and all that. There's certain candidates, there's certain presidents who have just done what the deep state tells them to do. And, and it's just they're just puppets. They don't, They don't even ask or inquire about what they're not being told. And I think the ones that do ask, I think Temple on Timcast has even talked about this, like what they would do to you if you would ask a question about UFOs or anything that they wanted to keep secret. They would just slide a picture of JFK, across the table at the Oval Office. And, they would say, here you go, this is what's gonna happen to you if you keep asking questions. you know. And I'm sure they've done that multiple occasions. Plus the stuff that Alex Jones talks about with he has made several documentaries about a lot of stuff. The Bilderberg conference, Davos, the Bohemian Grove, things like that. And even like, the secret military exercises that were done. I forget what it was exactly, but they're like planning secret military exercises with, to basically, rein in martial law on the American people if it came to it. And, and I think a lot of the military, like what they would select the military for, just people in the military with a certain psychological profile that would be more easily, like go along with things easier than other people would. Some people would raise hell, other people would be like, okay, fire on American citizens, okay, whatever, that's fine. you know. So when we talk about these things, it's a multi-layered like thing. It's the fourth branch of government, which is the administrative state, like the paper pushers and the people in the different departments that uh, aren't working for the benefit of the people. They're working for their own self-interests. And granted, guys, a lot of times you know these things just it's like, why did if you want to know why JFK got assassinated, it was to do with UFOs. You want to know why Marilyn Monroe got assassinated? It was to do with uh her and her and John Kennedy. Yeah, I think that's his name. I just go by JFK. I don't know. Her and JFK, basically, they were sleeping together and all that, and he would talk to her about how they were going to, or actually what they learned from the CIA and things like that from about UFOs and stuff, and and so they couldn't, she was mad at him because she was kind of booted out of the circle when they stopped seeing each other, and so she was going to go public with a press conference of what she knew about UFOs and secret government programs and things like that. And so, everyone says, oh yeah, she, committed that word that I can't say. But she actually didn't. She was red rummed, if you know what so, and it was made to look like a self-induced kind of thing, but it was not self-induced. It was somebody else did it. And there's actually documents. You can see them on dpia.com. dpiarchive.com. And, Stephen Greer has gotten those documents, those classified, top secret documents that, nobody's supposed to have, but he says, okay, well, why don't you go ahead and arrest me? He told somebody, why don't you just arrest me? And he's like, yeah, I have sources in the media. I have basically a dead man's trigger, and he's like, I'm gonna release hell when if you go ahead and arrest me, go ahead and put up on the silver cuffs, and it'll say, like, the headlines will be, oh, emergency doctor was arrested for disclosing UFO evidence or whatnot. And so it's just crazy. Anyway, this truth is stranger than fiction, guys. I mean, why would you want to, play a video game or read a fantasy novel when when reality is stranger than any of that, than any fiction? And so, when we talk about this stuff, I just want you to know, like, that it's, a lot of stuff out there, it's just a matter of, looking for it. And, you can check out the archives and all that, dpiarchives.com or dpiarchive.com. And, yeah, so with the deep state, though, it's multi-layered. It's basically a fourth branch of government. That these people intentionally lie to the president, to Congress. They will intentionally obfuscate things. And like that Syrian example that I gave you earlier, that's just a small drop in the ocean of the BS that they've given the presidents over many, many years. Yeah. And so a lot of people like to point out, oh yeah, this has just been going on since Trump. No, it's actually been going on for a very, very long time. And if you read Stephen Greer's documents, he will tell you all about it. And so, it's yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about how entrenched everything is. It's like, man, we've been subverted. We've been taken over from the inside. It's crazy. We've been. And then, with the disclosure movement is the same thing about declassifying everything. All of this stuff is related to the deep state. Epstein. There's, JFK, RFK, MLK. All of that stuff is the deep state. The doings of the deep state. And that's why they don't want it out there. And the deep state is, again, it's people in, you think, okay, it's like this one thing. No. There's spies, there's moles everywhere. Like there's like underground networks. There's like this person over here in the Department of State might know this person in uh the DNI, the NSA, the uh DEA, everyone knows everyone. And it's not like, the average paper pusher, the average, government employee who's just doing their job won't probably know about this stuff. They'll be like, okay, I'm told to do this, okay, I'll do that. It's the kind of the management, the people, select people in key roles in management positions that are going, behind the scenes and connecting, and, it's like the hand that moves the puppet. The puppet is you know, the bureaucracy, the paper pushers, the everyday people. But then what is moving them is this stuff, and it might be so compartmentalized that, you know, that even people who are hiding certain files and certain things, they might not even know that, why they're doing it, or whatever. It's like you gotta think about, you know. And plus, we don't know what we don't know, you know. So, uh, so yeah. I mean, I just really wanted to come on here today and talk about this stuff because, I mean, it can be so compartmentalized from the public. Like, oh, I can see that the deep state is manifesting itself here in hiding the Epstein documents. Oh, I can see that the deep state is manifesting itself here with giving no disclosure for aliens and UFOs. Oh, I can see that the deep state is manifesting itself here by lying to Trump and playing the shell game with the Syrian troops, undermining the authority of the president. Like, it's everywhere. These things are not isolated incidents; they are everywhere. So I just wanted to share that because I can see so many people saying, "Oh yeah, they're just really mad about the Epstein documents being released, and they want to, there's certain billionaires, there's certain people who don't want that stuff released." And it's like, yeah, that's because they're involved in other things as well as, CP and the nasty things that Epstein was involved with, you know. So, yeah. So, so the same people, the deep state, might be involved with, of course, there's, wealthy billionaires and stuff, but then there's also, they might be involved with UFO disclosure and this and that and all that stuff. In fact, one time Dr. Stephen Greer got propositioned to join the deep state, to join this, cabal, this secret cabal, this, deep underground project for disclosure or for unacknowledged special access programs or projects. And, they offered him $2 billion. $2 billion with a B. And then when, he's like, oh yeah, I'd do that, but then you'd own my ass. It's like, and the guy telling him was like, no, 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 we wouldn't own you. You would do whatever you want. whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, it's like devil speaks with forked tongue. And so, but then at a later date, you don't even know how entrenched this stuff is. Because at a later date, another gentleman says, "Oh, I'm responsible for all the financial stuff that within America and within, I guess, worldwide or within America or whatever." He's like, "Yeah, we looked into your credit score and all that, and you have a pretty good credit score, in fact, excellent, and you make a lot of money and all this stuff." And it's like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "How about this? Go ahead and get, like, I don't know how many credit cards," he said to get, probably like 2 or something. And then he's like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and max those things out every month, and then at the end of the month we'll just zero your your debt out, your credit card debt, zero it out, so that way you can spend as much as you want to without having to pay stuff." Anyway, he's like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Except then you'd own me, wouldn't you?" I was like, "Yeah, of course they want to do anything to own people, especially valiant, brave men who are standing up to them, and they would do anything to control everyone. That's their agenda, is control." And regarding the UFO stuff, you know, if we actually knew how much stuff they were hiding from us and keeping secret, there would be riots everywhere. Because from what I understand, the technology that they have is about 1,000 years ahead of the stuff that we have. So lots of people say, "Oh yeah, the military probably has stuff, 20, 30 years ahead of the stuff that we have." No, it is thousands of years ahead. The stuff that we have in terms of technology and stuff is peanuts. It really is. It's 1840s technology. the Whenever the combustion engine was invented, that's how long we've been stuck with it, is for that many years. And it's just like, we could have so much technology by now. We could have free energy, you know a box. We could use a box about this size that would power an entire city, an entire, you know, country, or an entire town, or whatever. Just unlimited energy flowing from this one thing. Power everything. Of course, they don't want that, because it was Chase. It was J.P. Morgan who told, I believe it was Tesla, if we can't put a meter on it, then we're not gonna go with that, because we need to be able to, it's like a charge per gallon. We need to be charging per, certain unit of energy, or whatever it is. And, so they squashed Tesla's technology that could use 0 point energy. You know? And so, yeah, I mean, so all these elites want is to figure out how to make more money. Even billionaires, even multi-billionaires, all they want is more and more money. And more money. And when they get more and more money, they still want more and more money. And then when they had their fill of more and more money, they want more and more power. Then when they get more and more power, they still want more and more power. It's an endless cycle. It's just consumption and devouring everything. And so that's how you get your Black Rocks and your Vanguards and your this and that, is they just own everything. I know even in my town, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, they've been buying up houses over here like crazy and then jacking the prices up so nobody can afford anything. So house prices become ridiculously expensive. And they can afford to buy it at a higher price because, they have billions and probably trillions and assets, and then they go and borrow against their assets, and then they can buy anything, So, anyway, that's enough of my kvetching. My bitching and moaning. But I just wanted to tell you guys about this stuff because it escapes the minds of, the average person. Average person's consumed with just getting by, just surviving, just doing what they have to do. But, people like me have the time and energy to go look at this stuff and all that good stuff and, research and delve into things and stuff. So, my hair is a mess. That's why I have the hat on. Didn't even comb it. Why bother? Anyway, I need to go get a haircut. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you, and I also wanted to mention, please do go. If it's the last thing you do, go and follow me on X. You can go follow me on X at Gebo the Shaman. Right there. At Gebo the Shaman. Go check me out. I have a ton of articles. I have a lot of stuff going on. One is about crash retrieval and other stuff, and it's just crazy. So I got a lot of stuff going on for me over there. A lot of articles to look into. A lot of cool stuff. And yeah, go check that out. As well as you can please go to my Substack. On Substack, I'm also writing these articles. You can go to gebo.substack.com. Check that out. That's my Substack. And I think it's free or something. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that. I'm trying to make, articles available for free and stuff. But yeah, I mean, so that's an option. So go check out my Substack and check out all my free articles there, and you can see if there's something that you want to pay for there, as well as my other website, gebotheshaman.com. You can check out all my let me pull that up. Let me see. Here we go. So you can see all of my services, all my courses, all my everything that I have to offer is all right there. All right, guys. So go check me out, especially on X and all that good stuff. And yeah. All right. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Peace. Take care.